As a resident and a fellow, I had the amazing opportunity to train with Dr. Ronald Busatil and Dr. Tom Starzl in the area of liver transplantation. And that was really what geared me towards a career to treat liver cancer. As you know, Dr. Busatil has recently retired and performed over 4,000 liver transplants and has served as an inspiration to many of us who trained with him at UCLA. My goal to coming to UCI was to bring the treatment of liver disease to Orange County. For those of you in the audience, it may be very hard to imagine that when I started at UCI, we did not have treatments for hepatitis B, and hepatitis C was known as non-A, non-B hepatitis. So over the course of my career, we've gone to being able to diagnose and treat diseases like hepatitis C, and we've been able to develop effective therapies for hepatitis B and have really revolutionized the ability to treat patients with viral hepatitis. Over my career, we've really sought to develop a multidisciplinary team to treat liver cancer. It wasn't until the early 2014-15 that we even had chemotherapy to treat primary liver cancer, sorafenib, and it's been within the last 3 to 4 years where we've had a revolution in the number of chemotherapy agents to be able to treat liver cancer. So it's really been an interesting ride watching the progress that we've made, but we still have a significant amount of work to go to ultimately cure liver cancer.
Although I'm not at the same department with Dr. Imagawa, but I had luckily had the opportunity working with him in UCI's Child Comprehensive Digestive Center, or CDDC, and now UCI Institute of Digestive Health for nearly 2 decades. I deeply appreciate and admire his outstanding achievements in many aspects. He has actively involved either as a PI or co-PI over 120 clinical trials. With his great leadership, UCI's pancreatic cancer and liver cancer programs have grown so rapidly and so much, now became the leading program in Orange County and Southern California. Dr. Imagawa is also dedicated to academic activity, medical research, and teaching and mentoring.
I first met Dr. Imagawa, I want to say when I was an undergrad at UCLA. And I had started doing research in the liver lab here at UCLA under the support of Dr. Busatil. And he was a faculty member at the time. He just recently completed his fellowship and he had started faculty. He had an active role in the lab. And so he took me sort of under his wing a little bit and said, all right, let me show you what we need to do and the charts you need to go over and the data you need to collect. And we started, I started being his little research boy, to help with some of the projects and things. And I was scared of him at times. Definitely, I'd be lying if I probably said I wasn't, because he was demanding. Things had to get done. They had to get done right a certain way. And I think it was more wanting not to disappoint him. My impressions of him were he's extraordinarily brilliant, extraordinarily hardworking, extraordinarily detail-oriented, and one of the most disciplined and motivated people I've ever met. And it was just inspiring. I mean, he had this energy, he had direction, he was very acute with his thought processes and the way he analyzed things and so on, you could tell. And it was very inspiring. I owe him a tremendous debt with respect to getting me on my feet with the academic aspect of liver research and that sort of thing. I was actually doing research in 2 other labs at the time, but this was the first surgical research experience that I had, and it was incredible.
When I started treating liver disease and liver cancer, we knew so little about what was going on. There have been many patients that have passed through. There are many patients that have come through the institutions like UCI And I think what's really important when I think about everything is really the faith that the patients have put into the institutions and their ability and their willingness to be involved in clinical trials. Without the ability of clinical trials, none of this progress forward would have been made. So there are certainly individual patients that stand out, but I think what more stands out is really the vast number of patients who were willing to participate in clinical trials and to move the needle forward for the treatment of liver cancer and liver disease.
Warming up to David sort of as a human being, or as seeing his human side, came very early on, which was surprising to me. He's a marshmallow. He is a marshmallow, and he's an extremely kind, compassionate human being. He always looks out for the little guy. As an example, going back to when I was an undergrad in the lab, he always looked out for me. There would be graduation events, division parties that, for the division. And I was this little lowly research student, and he made sure I came, and he gave me a ride. He would pick me up and give me a ride back. He didn't have to do that. He didn't. He didn't have to do that at all. And he looked out for me. And he looked out for me when it came to what I was doing academically, how I was doing in school. He would ask me how my classes are going. I've had the privilege of maintaining an interaction with him over multiple layers over the years. If in speaking with anybody that works with him or around him, the residents that came to rotate here and in talking to them about him, or other faculty, patients that he's cared for, that we've shared in some capacity or another, he's an inspiration to everybody around him. It's clear that he's been able to be extraordinarily versatile and successful at what he does. And I think UC Irvine is lucky to have somebody like him. He's devoted his entire life to this. He works tirelessly at it. He's loved by everybody that works with him. And, I think his career trajectory speaks to that. So, no, it's been a privilege to see and be witness to his success over the years.
I think the future for the treatment of liver cancer is very bright. We've gone from having no agents to treat liver cancer to multiple chemotherapy agents, both oral and intravenously, that have been very effective in combating liver cancer. There are a number of trials that are now out there looking at combinations of therapy, timings of therapy, staging of therapy to improve the outcomes for liver cancer. So I think that the opportunities are really unlimited, and it's going to be with the help of foundations such as this, pharmaceutical companies, physicians, and of course patients that we're able to move all of this forward.
It's my great pleasure today to join you on celebrating Dr. David Imagawa's Lifetime Achievement Award.
Dr. Imagawa, it is my privilege to speak to your career and congratulate you on a tremendously well-deserved Lifetime Achievement Award, which I think most people get a little older in their lifetime, but the fact that you're getting it now only speaks to your accomplishments, your career trajectory, your relationships with people, and the inspirational surgeon that you have been. I can't think of a more deserving person. My most heartfelt congratulations on a very well-deserved award.
I'd really like to thank the foundation for this honor. It's really been a privilege to work with the individuals here and watch the growth of outreach on the West Coast. And I think that this step to really having a unique foundation that really looks to treat and looks to integrate the physicians on the West Coast with patients on the West Coast is really something that's been sorely needed, and we thank everybody for the support that they have given the foundation.